Good morning to all of you. We are starting with the lesson The Enemy. Okay. This story is really very nice. You'll have to pay attention to understand it. It is from the time of World War II, and it's a conflict between man's duty and ethics. If you become a doctor, you take a pledge. When you pass out, you have to take a pledge that every time you will be available for your patients. Okay, you will be helping the poor, you will be helping the sick person. Okay, so Dr. Sadao, he was a Japanese and he was a doctor, but he hated the Americans. Okay, so let's start the lesson. Dr. Sadao Hole's house was Wait a minute. Dr. Sadao Hoki's house was built on a spot of the Japanese coast where, as a little boy, he had often played. Now, Dr. Sadao's house was near a coast, okay, and he had been staying right from his childhood in that house only. Okay, the low square stone house was set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined with bent pines. Okay, his house was at a very beautiful location. It was on the coastal area, and on both the sides there were pine trees. Okay, and the house was built on a mountain. Okay, as a boy, Sadao had climbed the pines, supporting himself on his bare feet, as he had seen men do it in the South Seas. When they climbed for coconuts, his father had taken him often to the islands of those seas, and never had he failed to say on the little brave boy at his side. Okay, he became a very brave boy because his father, continuously used to take him to the coastal areas where he could climb the pine trees, and he had seen many people climbing the pine trees for coconut. Okay, those islands yonder, they are the stepping stones to the future for Japan. Where shall we step from them? Sadao had asked seriously. He always had a question to his father that after these mountains, which were there on the boundary, what is there on that side? He always wanted to ask his father that from here, the Japanese people, where are they going to go from here? Who knows? His father had answered. Who can limit our future? It depends on what we make it. The father used to say, I don't know, I don't have any answer to it, but our future is in our own hand. Whatever you want your future to be, it will be the same. Okay? Sadao had taken this into his mind, as he did everything his father said. His father, who never joked or played with him, but who spent infinite pains upon him, who was his only son. Sadao's father, right, he did not have much time to give it to his son, but every time he used to bring him to the coastal areas. Okay. For these reasons, he had been sent at 22 to America to learn all that could be learned of surgery and medicine. He went to America to study, during World War II. It was the Americans and the Japanese people, they were not good friends, right? That is why that war was going on. But this boy, being a Japanese, he went to America to study medicine and surgery, okay? He had come back at 30, and before his father died, he had seen Sadao become famous not only as a surgeon but as a scientist. Now Sadao's father, he had sent him at the age of 20, and when at 30 he came back, he was a complete doctor. His father was very happy that before his death he could see his son growing like a good doctor, right? Because he was perfecting a discovery which would render wounds entirely clean. Dr. Sadao, he was studying there medicine, okay, and he was developing a medicine which can heal the wounds totally. Not even a scar could be seen there, right? He knew there was some slight danger that the old general might need an operation for a condition for which he was now being treated medically, and for his possibility, Sadao was being kept in Japan. The troops went to fight, okay, but Sadao was never sent with them. Why? Because the general of the army, he was also suffering with some problems, and Sadao was the only doctor who could treat him. And for his treatment, he was always kept in Japan. He was never allowed to leave Japan. Clouds were rising from the ocean now. The unexpected warmth of the past few days had at night drawn a heavy fog from the cold waves. Sadao watched mist hide outlines of a little island near the shore and then come creeping up the beach below the house, wreathing around the pines. In a few minutes, fog would be wrapped about the house, and then he would go into the room where Hana, his wife, would be waiting for him with the 2 children. What about his family? How many people were there? He had his wife Hana and 2 children also were there in his family. So every night he used to go out, see the fog, and he enjoyed that thing, and he saw the fog, creeping up to his house, okay? And after that he used to come inside where his wife was waiting for him. But at this moment the door opened and she looked out, a dark blue woolen haori over her kimono. Kimono is a Japanese dress. She came to him affectionately and put her arms through his as he stood, smiled and said nothing. He had met Hana in America, but he had waited to fall in love with her until he was sure she was Japanese. He fell in love with Hana when he was studying in America, and he made sure that she is a Japanese girl because he knew his family is not going to allow him to do intercaste marriage. His father would never have received her unless she had been purer in her race. He wondered often whom he would have married if he had not met Hana, and by what luck he had found her to the most casual way, by chance, literally at an American professor's house. So he used to go to an American professor's house where many other children also, students, came to study, and there he met Hana. Okay, it was all by chance. The professor and his wife had been kind people, anxious to do something for their few foreign students, and the students, though bored, had accepted this kindness. Sadao had often told Hana how nearly he had not gone to Professor Harley's house that night. The room was so small, the food so bad, the professor's wife so voluble, but he had gone, and there he had found Hana, a new student, and had felt he would love her if it were at all possible. So these students had to go there to study. They did not like it, but they had to go. They went there to study, and the professor's wife was very voluble, means she was very talkative. So whatever she made, these students, they used to eat also, sit there also. And this girl, Hana, was a new student there, and Dr. Sadao fell in love with her, and he thought that she is the perfect girl for him. Now he felt her hand on his arm and was aware of the pleasure it gave him, even though they had been married years enough to have the 2 children, for they had not married heedlessly in America. They had finished their work at school and had come home to Japan, and when his father had seen her in the marriage had been arranged in the old Japanese way, although Sadao and Hana had talked everything over beforehand. They were perfectly happy. She laid her cheek against his arm. That was a very lovable position. You're right. She was loving her husband, and they were remembering the old thing, that how they got married. It was actually because she was a Japanese girl. That is why the father did not have any problem in getting her married to his son. Okay, and in a very traditional way, the marriage was organized, and they both got married. Okay, fine. End of the video, and I'll be coming up in the next video. So wait till then. Bye bye.